Welcome back, CSE 235 to part 4 of ex2b. Hope you're enjoying this so far, this nice little exercise that is turning out to be longer than I thought. But we're learning a lot from it, and we're digging into a lot of content, and we're dealing with a lot of kind of validation and stuff, which is good because we're going to have to deal with that when we validate forms as well. So we're kind of jumping into a lot of logic here. So if you're familiar with programming, this should seem familiar. If you're not, this might be a little confusing. Either way, even the math can be a little confusing. All this stuff here was a little confusing. What we're going to do next is just, hopefully this won't be confusing, is we're just going to make the button initiate what happened so that none of this stuff kind of jumps out until the button is clicked. So what we could do is just kind of do it after the fact. So we're going to just basically have a function, put all our stuff in a function, and then have a function call come off the button. And we're going to do that with an AddEventListener. So we already have a button set up, and it has an ID of button. So we'll use that get element by ID, and that'll basically be used to call the function. So this shouldn't be that hard. So to make a function, all we're going to do is give it a function keyword and use curly braces and put everything in the function. Now I think I'm just going to leave these outside the function, but I am going to put the prompt inside the function. We should not have a problem having data get sent from outside the function into the function. Where there's a problem sometimes, if you generate variables inside a function and you need them outside a function, that presents a scope issue, which we'll talk about some other time, but we should be fine this way. Getting variables that are inside a function, outside a function can sometimes be a little bit more challenging. So let's do this. Let's just highlight everything from here on down. We don't need the console log as part of the function, and we don't even need these comments as part of the function, but everything down here. Now I'm just going to tab everything over. I'm just going to highlight everything and hit tab, and don't worry, it won't delete it. It'll just move everything over. And then what I'll do is I'll go up here right before here, and I'll put an extra space, and I'll just put the function keyword and type it right, a space, and then give it a name, and we'll just call it confirm age or something like that. Confirm age. And we'll put two parentheses. We're not passing any kind of argument in there at this time. And then if you make your two curly braces, it's going to put them right there, but we actually want this closing curly brace. I'm going to cut it and do Command X or Control X if you're on Windows, and then take that last curly brace and go all the way down here and put it after here, hit return and paste it here, and I'll even move it out to the margin so I know that that's the closing of this function. So everything inside the function is indented. You don't have to indent that. That's a Python thing. This means nothing. It's just easier to see. So we're just making sure that we can see our function. So we don't have to indent. What's important is it's inside the curly braces. So we have the starting curly brace here and the closing one down here, and it should be highlighted. And it is. It's kind of hard to see. So everything's in here, and we have a function called confirm age. But how do we call the confirm age function? Well, we could just call it on the page, but that would do the same thing that we had before. What we want to do is call it with the button. So we're going to put a button at the end here, and you don't have to have the button before it. You could have the button after it. And I'll just go after this curly brace, and then we don't want it inside part of the function because it's calling the function. So we don't put the function call inside the function definition. Now remember, this is the function definition. We're defining a function called confirm age, and it has all this stuff in here is going to happen, and then we're going to call the function. And how are we going to call the function? We're going to go document.get. Not sure why this isn't helping us here. By IDs. I find the JavaScript sometimes it's hit or miss when it's working okay. By ID. And then the ID we want is btn, but it has to be in quotes, btn. And then we're going to do .add. Oh, that's not coming up either. Document.get. That should come up. You should see it come up, and the last time I did it, it came up. But we're going to do AddEventListener. Add event, capital E, capital L. And then inside here, we have to put two things. And you could just look up AddEventListener, but we're going to put an event in quotes, and we'll just put click. We'll just do that for now. Spell it right. And then we're going to put the function name, and this is worth checking out. Let's just look AddEventListener, and then we'll go to W3 Schools. And let's use W3 Schools. Here's the add event. Now, what I always get confused about is, do we need the parentheses there or not? Now, they have two ways to show it. I haven't used this compact mode. I've always used this, so I don't think it's that hard. We're doing the element.addEventListener. Now, we're getting the element by ID first. That's why it doesn't just say element. And we're going to click, and then we're going to do my function. Let's just see what they have here. Oh, they have a variable that's get element by my ID, my button, and then it's element. So they did it in two steps. If you look at this here, this is actually good to do because sometimes it makes your code shorter. They're making a variable that represents document.getElement by ID, my button, and then they're just saying element.myAddEventListener, AddEventListener. And the important part here is that there's no parentheses after my function. So the function name doesn't have parentheses. There's parentheses around this whole thing, and there's a comma in there. But there's no, you don't have to put commas here like that. You won't have like 3 things in a row like that. And sometimes I forget that. So anyway, let's go back to this. And what they did there, they called something element. They said, well, they used const. They said const element. You could do const element equals, and then they put this part here. They put that part here. And then you just have to do element. See, this shortens this part. Now, sometimes that helps. Sometimes, then it's not one long line. So now it's just element.addEventListener. And if you have a lot of these, it might be easier to do that. So, and then it's click. Now we have to put the function name here. And that's confirm age. Confirm age. No parentheses. Do we do that? No, we do not. But we still need the closing parentheses. So that should work. Let's try it out. Let's actually go here and refresh it. And what we don't want to see is the alert popping up. We want to see the alert pop up when you click this. There we go. So let's try it one more time. We'll do if today's your birthday. How about that? September. Date of birth, 18th. There it is, 18th. And 2002. You have to be born in 2002 because add them together is 2023, which is today. Yay! We can put an animation of something happening here. We could have JavaScript do that too and have some kind of animation here or some kind of video play or whatever. But anyway, for now, that's working. So what we did was use a button that we got by the ID name, and we used a click event, and we actually called the function confirm age, which here's the function confirm age. And we did that so that the alert wouldn't pop up automatically on the page, because the alert will pop up no matter what as the first thing. So that kind of keeps the alert from popping up. I was doing that another time and it wasn't working, and it's because, believe it or not, I had my parentheses in there. So that's it. So that's all you have to do for just that little bit of stuff is all you have to do for ex2b before we move on to another one. But I like the idea of kind of building onto things. As I come up with little exercises, I build onto them. And even in my head, this seemed like a very quick exercise, but it's not. There's a lot of code that goes into just creating something that confirms if you're 21 or not. You know, just like a running pace. I wanted to do a running pace thing one time, and it was very complicated based on, minutes and hours and seconds. I mean, it really was not fun to do unless you really like math. And I don't really like math. I'm okay at math, but I don't really like it. I respect math. I'm better with colors and visual things and languages and stuff like that, but not math. My brain just has to work harder to figure out math, as you can see when I do some of this stuff here. Well, anything, but it's good. It's good for my brain, keeps me working, and hopefully it's keeping your brain working hard too as you go through some of this stuff. And hopefully you'll have some questions and be like, why did we do this and why did we do that? And what if we do this? And can we make this easier? Can we make that easier? All that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's ex2b validating if you're 21. 2 lines showing up visually, basically, in the end, but a lot of code to get there, and 4 videos. So I apologize for all those videos, but hopefully we learned some introductory JavaScript by doing that.